I have an inspirational story for you. But before we go on, please don't forget to follow, share and comment to ensure our stories can reach every home and also touch lives. Amen. Do you know Steve Jobs? Yes, Steve Paul Jobs, the one who helped build the Apple products from iPhone to iPad to computers. And a lot more. He even ventured into film. I guess you might be scratching your head. Don't worry, I'm here to tell you an inspiring story about him. All you have to do is follow my channel for more life-changing stories and history. Thank you. Now the story. Here's a compelling and inspiring story about Steve Jobs, from his humble beginnings to global stardom. The spark behind the Apple. The story of Steve Jobs. In a small garage in Los Altos, California, a revolution was quietly brewing. But long before that garage became sacred ground in tech history, a baby boy named Steve Jobs was born in San Francisco on February 24, 1955. Put up for adoption, he was raised by Paul and Clara Jobs, a modest couple with big hearts but modest means. Paul, a machinist, taught Steve how to tinker with electronics. It was there, in their home, that Steve's lifelong love of innovation first sparked. School was never easy for Steve. He was intelligent, exceptionally so, but he was restless, often clashing with authority and refusing to conform. Yet behind his rebellion was a fierce curiosity and an uncanny ability to think differently. In high school, Steve met Steve Wozniak, a brilliant and quirky electronics whiz. The two Steves bonded over their love for technology, practical jokes, and vision of making computing more accessible. After a brief stint in college, one he dropped out of to save his adoptive parents' money, Jobs traveled to India seeking spiritual enlightenment. That journey left a lasting mark, shaping his minimalist aesthetic and deep sense of intuition. Back in California, the magic began. In 1976, Jobs, Wozniak, and a few others built the first Apple computer in that now legendary garage. It was clunky by today's standards, but it was revolutionary, bringing computing power into everyday homes. Apple Computer Inc. was born. The company grew rapidly. Jobs wasn't the most technical person in the room, but he had an unmatched ability to see the future and sell a vision. With his charisma and drive, he pushed the team to build the Macintosh, the first computer with a graphical user interface and mouse, far ahead of its time. But the journey wasn't all triumph. In 1985, amid power struggles, Jobs was forced out of Apple, the very company he had founded. Many thought his story was over. Jobs, however, saw it as a beginning. He went on to found Next, a computer company focused on higher education and business, and bought a small animation studio from George Lucas. That studio, renamed Pixar, would go on to produce Toy Story, the first fully computer animated film, and transform the entertainment industry. In 1997, Apple bought Next, and just like that, Steve Jobs returned to the company he started. With fresh vision and unmatched determination, he led Apple into a golden era of innovation. The iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad weren't just products, they were cultural touchstones that changed the way people live, communicate, and interact with the world. Jobs wasn't perfect. He could be demanding, intense, and stubborn, but he was undeniably brilliant. He believed in excellence, in simplicity, and in the power of design. More than anything, he believed that people with passion could change the world. Steve Jobs passed away on October 5, 2011, after a long battle with cancer. But his legacy lives on, in the devices we use, the companies he inspired, and the dreams of countless creators who still believe in thinking different. From a garage to global fame, Steve Jobs' story is not just about technology, it's about vision, resilience, and the courage to change the world.